welcome to my channel. Today is Saturday, July 2nd, and I am exactly 12 weeks out from my first show. So for today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about food swaps you can make during a bulk versus a cut. And this video is actually super relevant to me right now because I'm just starting to cut back on my calories, and so I'm going to be replacing some of the foods in my diet to make it a little bit easier on myself while I'm cutting. So hopefully this cut won't be super miserable for me. First, to start, I want to talk a little bit about food volume. Food volume is something you should be super mindful of whether you're bulking or cutting, and can be helpful for either end of the scale. If you're bulking, you want to be eating foods that are more calorically dense. That way it doesn't feel like you're eating such a large volume of food. On the other end of things, if you're cutting and you find yourself going over your calorie goal a lot, you want to eat foods that are higher in volume. That way it feels like you have more food, but it's not necessarily more calories. So an example of this would be if I'm cutting and I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts, getting a 6-pack of donuts, having some ramen and some potato chips. I could eat all my calories in that and still lose weight if I'm still in a deficit, but most likely I'm still going to feel hungry at the end of the day, and I'm going to have a hard time maintaining my deficit and losing weight. It's also just not the healthiest way to do things. So instead, if I'm cutting, I want to be eating foods that are higher in volume. That way I'm staying full longer and I'm not starving the entire day, and I'm not reaching for more calories than I actually need, and it's easier for me to lose weight. If I'm bulking and I'm having a hard time reaching my calorie goal, I'm not going to really want to be eating salads and fruit all day because I'm going to have a really hard time hitting my calorie goal if that's all I'm eating. So I want to get foods that are more calorically dense. That way it feels like I'm eating a smaller amount of food and I don't have as hard of a time hitting my calorie goal. So in my diet, there's lots of swaps I make, whether I'm cutting or bulking, just so I make it easier on myself and I'm not too uncomfortable on either end of the spectrum. If I'm bulking, I'm not feeling super groggy and awful and force feeding myself all of the time, and if I'm cutting, I don't feel like I'm starving all day. And a lot of these food swaps help me to do that. So I'm gonna take you guys to my grocery store of choice, Target of course, and I'm gonna show you some of the foods that I specifically change out in my diet when I'm bulking or cutting. We're also gonna be flipping over the labels because sometimes what's healthy is kind of deceiving nowadays at the grocery store. So we're gonna be looking at some of that too. Just a quick disclaimer, you should always figure out what a deficit or a surplus should look like for your body specifically. My deficit or my surplus is not going to be the same amount of calories as the person next to me. If you're unsure of what a deficit or a surplus should look like for you, if you just Google TDEE calculator, that stands for Total Daily Energy Expenditure, you'll be able to find how many calories you're burning a day, and then from there you can figure out how much of a deficit or how much of a surplus you should be in. So it's not going to be the same for everyone, so I really would encourage you guys to figure out what it's going to look like for you. Do your research on what your macros should be for your body and what your calories should look like for your body, and not just grabbing what somebody else's is going to be and doing the exact same thing as them. Okay. With that being said, let's head to Target. Okay, we're filming in the Target, which is kind of awkward, but I have our first food swap. The first one is PB Light or PB2 versus peanut butter. So if I was cutting, I would go with this option because for 2 tablespoons, it has 60 calories. It also only has 1.5 grams of fat. And then for 2 tablespoons of the normal peanut butter, it is 180 calories. So 180 versus 60. And it has 15 grams of fat. So if I'm trying to get more calories, this one is 180 per serving, and this one is 60 per serving. So that's a really easy swap you can make. If you still want like flavor while you're cutting in oats or on some apples or whatever while you're cutting, this is your go-to. If you're trying to get those calories in while you're bulking, this is your go-to. Okay, so the next one that's going to be my food swap is going to be strawberries and bananas. If I'm bulking, I'll opt for a banana because it has more carbs and it's also going to keep me fuller longer. But if I want more of something when I'm trying to cut, strawberries are going to be the way to go because I can have more of these for the calories. Bananas for a bulk, more carbs, more calories. Strawberries for a cut, I can eat more of them and they're lower in calories. So it would probably be really hard to eat all of your calories in vegetables if you're bulking. If you're bulking, a greens powder can help get you those extra veggies that you just feel like you cannot down. But if you're cutting, I would eat the veggies because they hardly have any calories and it's going to make you feel like you're eating more food. So cutting is going to be the broccoli, bulking is going to be the green powder. So sauces are one of the most deceiving things as far as calories and carbs go. So if you're trying to cut and you're not losing weight and you think you're in a deficit and you're not tracking your sauces, this could be where you're going wrong. It's because you might be putting a bunch of sauce on and that might have 200 and some calories. We're going to take a look at the Chick-fil-A sauce. This one has 160 calories for 2 tablespoons. So teriyaki is a really good swap for any sauce. You can put a good amount on this before the calories add up. 2 tablespoons is 30 calories on this one. Only 3 grams of carbs per tablespoon. So this is a great alternative for this, even though this is delicious. But so if you don't like teriyaki, this barbecue sauce is really good. It only has 15 calories for 2 tablespoons. So this is a great option as well. So just pick your sauces smartly. You don't have to have food that tastes bad. You just have to pick wisely. Let's talk about carb sources for a second. So there's 2 carb swaps that I make when I'm bulking or cutting. This pasta is super calorie dense. So I can eat only a little bit and it's actually going to be a lot of calories. So instead, if I'm cutting, I might swap out for some rice. These ones are microwavable in 90 seconds, which I love, so this is my go-to during a cut. If you're looking for a replacement for this and you just love pasta and need to get your fix, I would recommend this. It is a little bit less carbs and it has some more protein in it. So not too big of a difference, but if you need to get your fix in, I'd rather eat this protein pasta on a cut than this pasta. Okay, this one's a really good one. If we're talking breakfast foods, eating oats and eating enough of them to hit my calories when I'm bulking is really hard. So when I'm bulking, I'll swap out for a bagel. Dave's Killer are my favorite. So one bagel is 270 calories. But if I'm trying to eat 270 calories in oats, it's going to be a little bit harder because half a cup of these is 150 calories. So oats when I'm cutting. Also, if I'm cutting, a bagel isn't going to keep me full as long. So I'm going to eat the oats because it's going to keep me fuller longer. So oats for a cut and then the bagels for a bulk. If you're eating granola, that can be deceiving as well. I can eat way more oats for the same amount of calories as I can for like a handful of granola. If you're bulking or cutting, just turn around the food labels because there's a lot of foods that are the same, but the calories are way different. Example, this Target brand bread is 70 calories a slice. This Dave's Killer bread, even though this is my favorite bread, I eat this when I'm bulking. One slice of this is 110 calories. So just flip them around and look. Chip brands can also be deceiving. A lot of brands advertise as healthy chips and then it's about the same as normal potato chips. So make sure you look at those. But a swap for potato chips if you're cutting is popcorn. 1 cup of this popcorn is 70 calories. And for 14 chips, this is 160. So if you're cutting, popcorn is a great snack, and you can eat a lot more of it. If you're using oils while you cook and not tracking, that could also be an issue for why you're not losing weight. For example, olive oil for 1 tablespoon is 120 calories and 14 grams of fat. So if I'm trying to lower my calories I'm gonna opt for this pan spray instead. So it's 0 calories per fourth of a spray. Instead of wasting 160 calories on this olive oil, I would opt for this. I'd rather eat my calories than have it in my cooking spray or my oils that I cook with. Okay, so now that we're done at the store filming that video, which was super awkward, but that's okay. Filming in the store, at least we didn't get kicked out. A lot of that is stuff that I wish I would have known when I was trying to lose weight and couldn't, or when I was bulking and just trying to eat the wrong things and was stuffing my face with foods that were too hard to eat. I'm at the gym. I'm gonna change clothes and I'm gonna do an evening shoulder and arm workout. So you guys will get to see some of that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be putting out videos every single week of my prep journey up until show day. So if you want to follow along on my prep journey all the way up to show and come along with me, then go ahead and subscribe. I will see you guys next week. Bye.